What's up, guys? Back in me here with the Fosters. We got the Fosters, season 3, episode 8, Daughters. Okay, so this episode starts off with Callie with Rita preparing Rita for a date because Callie's living at Rita's now until the whole Brandon thing is dealt with. So yeah, yeah. But Rita goes on a date, but when Callie's home alone, Rita's daughter Chloe shows up, and and Callie mentioned to her like she's on a date, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's not gonna end well." So yeah, so we kind of see there's some hastiness between what Chloe thinks of her mom's dating life. So yeah, so yeah, so yeah, so so Chloe's like, can't she use the bathroom? So when Rita comes back, she she tells Chloe about how Chloe tells Rita about how she's in this investment, and this and about this guy wants her to sell, and yeah, and Rita wants her to help him, and Rita's like, what do you know about doing a job? You don't even know how to cook. And she's like, one time you can believe in her. And she's like, I have believed in you, Chloe, over tunes of tens of thousands of dollars. So yeah, yeah, so she's like, Callie is it? You know, Rita, you may know Rita as the one who saves lives, but saves people and gives them good advice, but she doesn't save the life of anyone, even her own daughter. So yeah, so we see the thing of Chloe and Rita's relationship. So yeah, she steals Rita's checkbook, and she steals a check, and it's kind of like yeah. Sorry. It's kind of like we can already see, as I said, so yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So I'll be talking about 3 parts of this episode: Brandon and AJ. No, just Brandon. Sorry, not Brandon. AJ. I don't. For some reason, Brandon hates AJ. But yeah, I'll be talking about Brandon, Chloe's relationship with her daughter, and Girls United. So let's talk about that. So next time we see Chloe and her daughter, Chloe, she's like, you canceled the check, and she's like, the one she stole from her, she bet she did. Yeah, and she's like, she hates her. She hates her, and her dad hates her. He was so miserable, and he hated her, and that's why he killed himself. It's kind of dark for this show, but so I guess Rita's. So yeah, so and Rita just slaps Chloe, and she's like, "Don't you ever slap me." So yeah, yeah, I think she said that. But anyway, yeah. So Rita starts saying how she's terrible mom. Kylie's like, no, you're not, and yeah. So now let's talk about the Girls United people. So yeah, because of what's going on with Cal. So yeah. So we meet this new character named Brooke, who's part of the Girls United, and she has a bad attitude. Like she's like, because she's like, she in charge of Carmen, and when Carmen and Carmen has finally entered the army. She gets her GED. She's army in 2 weeks. So good job for Carmen. She finally got what she wanted, and yeah, and as we said, Carmen has got what she wanted. She has worked hard. Anyone else, and she's like, Brooke, you can either do your chores or you can get out of here. So, and Carla's like, well, crawling up her butt because she's acting crazy. Rita's acting crazy. So, yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So Brandon and AJ are. Let's talk about Brandon. Actually, yeah. So anyway, first I'll talk about Girls United stuff. So Carmen. So after something that happened to Jude, which I'll talk about later, it involves Brandon. Callie and Rita go back to Girls United to hear Brooke and Carmen fighting. So Rita goes to break it up, but all we hear is them yelling and then just a slap. That's all we hear. So Brooke, so Rita's like, go get Carmen's life. Brooke, go back to your room. So Steph comes and she tells a story about how Brooke and her were fighting, and then Rita came in and then she hit her, and Steph's like, Brooke, and she's like, no, Rita, and Rita's like, I never let him. And Brooke's like, it's true. Rita punched her in the face. So, yeah. And that's what they're sticking to. Because, of course. So, yeah. So, back at home, Steph discovers that Joel Olsen was in a pharmacy 50 minutes after the accident that injured Mariana and Jesus. And, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. So let's talk about Brandon. Okay, for some reason, Brandon just cannot stand AJ. So Brandon's like, you could get along with him, and Brandon's like, I don't have him to give me third degree about Callie. And he's like, you are over her, right? And she's like, sure. I had a chance to get back with her. I said no. Brandon's like, when was this? And he's like, and he starts talking about season 2, episode 10, when Callie was freaking out and they kissed. When Robert was, and Mariana's like, you two better get your story straight. If social worker finds out about this, we'll definitely lose Callie for good. So Brandon, so Brandon and Callie say do different sides of their story about when they kiss. Brandon says after. Callie says before. It was that. And Callie says that she initiated the kiss. Brandon says he initiated it. And it's just like, it's two sides of their story against one another. So Brandon's and the social worker's like, hey Brandon, did you ever violate the stringer? Of course Brandon says no, and he does ask the social worker, hey, did his mom ever, does their mom's have another license? And she's like, no, they're good for another 2 years. See? Told you that they would figure it out. So Brandon basically rushes in there. Not rushes, but he basically walks in and he's so he's like, I know your foster license didn't expire, so does that mean is Callie sleeping with AJ now? And she's like, at the night of Callie's party, she's like, Callie and AJ kiss, and she's like, then why couldn't you tell us that? Why couldn't you tell us to move somewhere else? Why just? And she's like, we didn't want to embarrass them. And he's like, you have no point humiliating him. And she's like, Brandon has to take it on the chin every time he brings a kid into this house. Are you gonna take a restraining order against AJ now? And Brandon's like, it's not the same. And Brandon's like, stop saying that. It is the same. Brandon always says, take it on chin every time they. And Brandon's like, whatever. He'll be out. While they care, he can turn into a group home. He can to a group home because you two don't want to live, because Stephanie and Rita don't want to live alone together. And they're like, and Lena's like, excuse me, Brandon? And Brandon's like, we don't hear you bickering all the time. We know you're in therapy, so why don't you just worry about your own relationship for once? And Jude overhears this. So what Jude's thinking is Stephanie are getting a divorce. So he basically doesn't want to do his math test because he's like, Callie's back in the system, and Stephanie are getting a divorce. Why should she care about anything? But it's like, is Callie in the system? I don't think so. If living with Rita is staying in the foster system, and being Girls United is in the foster system, I don't think he is. She's just staying with her. So Callie's not actually in the system. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so she's like, Steph and her are not getting a divorce. Steph just doesn't want to go to therapy. So he basically apologizes to them after they talk about Callie and Rita, and Steph realizes that she's been treating Brent, but her adopted kids more than her, and she should have treated the whole county. She should have been there for Brandon with the whole Callie situation, and yeah, they just hug it out. So I thought this episode was good. It was a good episode. So yeah, it was a good episode. Kind of dark with the whole Chloe saying her dad killed himself because of Rita. That was kind of dark. That was kind of dark thing to say. But yeah, the Foster's gonna get dark. It's supposed to be a show about family, but it doesn't have it's not a family drama without its dark moments. Yeah, the Fosters is about a drama about family, but it can have its dark moments at times. We've seen, like with Sophia, what's happening with her, Chloe, Rita's daughter, what's happening with her. The Fosters can get dark sometimes. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, because have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next, The Fosters.